Jumpers is, two things. One, it's from Simply Fun. Simply Fun is sort of the easiest way to describe it. It's like a Tupperware for board games. Mm-hmm. You can go to someone's house, have a party. They've been making games for a while. A lot of people haven't heard of them. Mm-hmm. They're not known. But this is actually a reprint. You said you played an earlier version of this game.
Yeah, so this is a reprint of a game called 20th Expedition, 20th Century, which came out from Kowali. And in fact, I believe Mike and I reviewed that printing of that game. This is I wouldn't call it a reprint. I would call it a slight reworking. It's very similar, but they did change some things in here that matter.
Yeah, so the theming is essentially you're going through time, blah, blah, blah. Think more of along the line, forget the theme in a sense, although the cards show it, but think of it like an advanced Racco of sorts, sort of. Yeah. I'll show you. Gameplay is pretty simple. You're going to have this token, and on your turn, you're going to take one of these cards that are randomly placed in these different sections. So I'll take an invention, so I might take this Rubik's Cube from 1980, and I'm going to place that on my board. That card is then going to be replaced, and then I'm going to have to move. Now, you have three options when you move. You can move either one space in either direction, or the color of the card you took. I took a purple card. I can go to that spot, which is in case sometimes you might even be able to stay on the same spot. If this person Discoveries picks the blue, they might say, you know what, I'm going to stay on Discoveries for the next turn. When you place these cards on your board, they're going to stay wherever you place them, although you have an option, you have a token to move them once. By the way, it shows you all the different colors and all the different cards that are in the century. At the top, you want to put one card of every different color, all 6 categories, but you want to place them in chronological order. So 1980 would be a bad choice to place here. Maybe I would place it in the second to the last slot. Here you're going to pick one color and have 3 cards of the same. Here you want as large of a gap between them as possible. And here you want to get as close to 1950 as possible. And if you can't place a card anywhere, you put it down here where it's -1 point. When you accomplish a goal, let's say you get all 6 cards in century spread, they're in chronological order, then you'll take the top token of the corresponding pile. There's different piles that are going to be worth different amounts of points, and the first person to do them will get the most points, or the person who's closest to them, the points are here. And the game's going to end after 12 turns, and you'll add up all your points, and whoever has most points is the winner. I do like how the game looks. I like how each decade has different, fonts for it, the colors. There's the facts on there. You don't need all that stuff because basically it's very abstract. I need a yellow 1917.
Right. I need something in the 70s or later. Boom. Yeah.
But I do like how it looks, and I think the ease of play is pretty simple. You can say, I'll go here, or jump to the color I took. I'm taking this color, and then where do you put on your board? But the fact is, once you put on your board, you have stopped playing with everybody else at that point.
Sure.
I'm now putting my board. The only time it matters is you want to maybe beat someone else to get the points.
Right. There's a little bit of competition for that, and then, of course, some cards you might really want this one card, and you're hoping nobody jumps in there and takes it from you. That there's that sort of turn angst a little bit. The production here, I think, is very nice. It has that, like you were saying, sort of toes the line between educational but fun, kind of mass market feel. It does that well. I think the things that changed that make this an improvement for me, the scoring. I thought in the original game, Expedition 20th Century, was very flat scoring. Everything had this feeling of, I do this first, I get 6 points. You do it second, you get 5. Other category, you did this first, you get 5 points. I did it second, I get 4 points. Everything was like that. And so I had this mushy feeling of, doesn't really matter how well I do, I'm going to get about 2 points more or less than you.
That was going to be my complaint about this one. I felt like this does that to some degree. It doesn't do that with everything, but it's
better than the original. They changed a decent amount of little things to find some wiggle room in it. I'm telling you, if you thought that this one did it, that first one really had, it was on the edge of like a fun activity, and I did enjoy playing it, but it felt activity-esque because there wasn't enough differentiation, that tension, that, ooh, I really want to complete this or do that. Those points are going to matter. It didn't feel like it mattered as much. They also added a couple of card types in here.
The jump cards.
The jump cards are brand new, and they removed a couple of cards from the original one that were confusing cards. They were in the middle, 1950, I guess. Behaved as a wild card, something. They took a couple of cards out. Good job there. They were just confusing.
Yeah, the only other complaint I have about the game, and it's fine, it's fun, you're building a little tableau in front of you. Mm-hmm. It's almost too easy. Like, for you to put things in order, you can kind of guesstimate, and it's going to get a little trickier, honestly, with the more players involved, because more players, more people might take the cards you want. But if Z takes 19-15, and my spread was 14-18, I will likely find the other card somewhere if I look for it. Yes, you still won't get a perfect board, possibly, but it's achievable. I wish it was harder to do a perfect board.
It is very achievable. I think you're right, and that is one of the things that's a drawback for me. You never run into that much trouble. It's like on the last card or two, maybe. You're right. It's very easy to do.
But it's fun. It is. I hate to use the educational word, but it is. I mean, you play this with kids, and you can look at all these events, and this is when it happened. It's a way you can even subtly teach important dates to kids.
Yeah.
Because they're going to remember that date with that item. But for me, it's interesting. I like it. I play it, but I wouldn't want to play it all the time. 6 out of 10.
I'm giving this one a 7. I gave a 6 out of 10 to the original printing of this, the first version, let's call it. Didn't like that one as much. I think this one is a solid improvement, honestly, across the board. I think it looks better. It's a better box. It's a better design. They've tightened up things. The scoring's more interesting. The game is still not tremendous. It went up, you know. It's a good educational style game. It's a fun, Racco-like card game. I would definitely bring this out and play it. But it is not going to set my world necessarily on fire. I think it's an excellent, simply fun production.
It is.
For them. I applaud that they picked this up and reworked it. Because I think for that alone, it's a huge success. And if you are looking for games that fit this category, that like educational, dipping a toe in that, you should probably pick this up. I do recommend it for that.
Well, there you go, folks. That is Time Jumpers.